Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest breaking Manchester United transfer news as Fabrizio Romano gives a huge update on Donnarumma, PSG and potentially Manchester United. So get excited. It's Manchester United. I won't do that again. But what Fabrizio is saying is that there's a Super Cup game on Wednesday for PSG against Tottenham and Donnarumma has been left out of that squad completely. He feels it's unfair. He's going to leave PSG either this summer or next summer when his contract expires. There's been a fallout there. I actually agree. It's a weird one because if you put Donnarumma in goal for Man United, we're instantly better with one of the best goalkeepers in the world. But I also agree with PSG that he's running his contract down. So they've gone and bought a new goalkeeper who is committed in Chevalier from Lille, wasn't it? So I agree with PSG. Is that a red flag for us? Well, it is, but Fabrizio is saying his most likely destination is the Premier League. Man City don't need a goalkeeper. Liverpool don't need a goalkeeper. Arsenal don't need a goalkeeper. So then you move down the list. Chelsea, Newcastle, Manchester United. These people are clubs that do need a goalkeeper because remember, Newcastle were looking to move on Nick Pope. So he's going to want a big wage. I think he wants to run his contract down. Look, honestly, of course, I want Donnarumma to be Manchester United's goalkeeper. And there is a big update on where Man United are with this. But there is a huge red flag. He ran his contract down at AC Milan. He's running his contract down at PSG. He's from the same agency that Mino Raiola ran. And they are very much about what's best for them and their clients. So, you know, that is a bit of a red flag. But to be honest with you, as much as we're building for the future, I just wonder if there is an element of now. Like, if you want to build a club for the next 10 years, then Donnarumma's probably going to run his contract down in 3 or 4 years. Honestly, he probably is. But getting one of the world's best goalkeepers in for the next 2 years could be the difference between Champions League football and 8th. So I think in life and in football, the ingredients should be varied. And yes, it's great to go, we only want players that are going to have a resale value, that want to be here and are young, etc. But I also think that if we hadn't got Sesko, Ollie Watkins would have been a decent shout for 2 years, even though some people didn't want to do it. And similarly with Donnarumma, yeah, of course, a younger goalkeeper that's going to be good for the next decade and is committed to Manchester United is the ideal. But it's not like, you know, Donnarumma's going to come to Man United and stand against the post picking his teeth going, oh, sorry, that went in. You know, he will come and be professional because he wants to be the best goalkeeper in the world. Whether he'll be off to Saudi in 3 years, maybe he will. But we need something right here, right now. I mean, I saw the pictures of Onana back in training today. And I really don't want to say this, but I was depressed. I mean, you can only be true to yourself. I'm not going to start talking about volleyball or you know, be offensive or anything like that. But I don't rate him as a goalkeeper. So it fills me with dread, if I'm being completely honest. So the opportunity to bring somebody in like Donnarumma is very exciting. Now, we're not in talks with Donnarumma at the moment, and neither are Chelsea, and neither are Newcastle. So nobody's actually in talks with him at the moment, which is quite a good thing because I think a lot of clubs are looking at Donnarumma and thinking the same. And I look forward to the comments because I think a lot of you are going to agree with me. Yeah, there's red flags. Yeah, he's a guy that runs his contract down. But ultimately, for the first couple of years, you're going to get a very committed goalkeeper who's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. The question is, can we afford it? And that's where it becomes problematic because we're talking, if you were watching the video with Beth at 2 o'clock, we're talking about world record bids for Belieber. And then you want to find £25 million for Donnarumma and then pay him probably 250k a week. I think he's rumoured to be on about 211, some say 300k. He'd be on a good wage. So I can see United going, nah, this is not what we're all about. We don't want to give a goalkeeper 250k a week and we don't want to give PSG £25 million. So I think the price might be off-putting to Manchester United. But similarly, it will be off-putting to Chelsea as well. Chelsea have a wage structure. I think their best paid player is Sterling, which was a stupid deal. I think Nkunku's in the top 3 and they're trying to get rid of him. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Reece James is their second highest earner at about 250k. And most of their players earn about 180k tops. So Donnarumma breaks their wage structure as well. As much as Chelsea like to spend money, he breaks their wage structure. So I don't think there's an advantage for Chelsea. Obviously there is, because they've got Champions League football, but I mean, I can see him at Chelsea more than I can see him at Manchester United. But what I'm saying is, it's not like they can blow us out of the water wages-wise, because they're operating to a structure as well. They also have a pretty strict criteria of players being under 23. So maybe they wouldn't go anywhere near it anyway. But Chelsea would be improved by it. So it's certainly an intriguing one. And it's also one you probably don't have to rush to a decision on. It's only today that PSG have left Donnarumma out, and he's said to be very disappointed and surprised by that and doesn't see it as fair. But I think, to be honest with you, I haven't got a problem with PSG and football clubs behaving like they are the thing that matters. And I think what they're basically doing is, you're not going to be our number one when we know you're going to run your contract down. We've seen what Trent did with Liverpool, and I think Liverpool wish they'd well, maybe they don't, but look, it wasn't nice for them. So there might be, I mean, look, it depends. What I think is there a loan deal there? Like, is there a loan deal there? PSG won't get any money for him, though. That's the problem. So the only thing I would say to PSG is there's got to be a solution. Like, he obviously will want to run his contract down. You won't get any money for him. So there's got to be a solution, because something's better than nothing. And why should a club give you 25 million and then give him 250 grand a week? That's a lot of money to outlay when really there's not really a place for him to go. So I wonder if there's a loan. I wonder if there's a reduced transfer fee, because the problem's going to be paying PSG a fee and then paying Donnarumma the wages he's going to want. And that's going to make it very restrictive for anybody. So watch this space. I mean, I think the goalkeeper, I've always said, I feel like there's something in our back pocket that maybe prevented us from having a goalkeeper for the start of the season. Because for me, we're playing with fire, starting with Onana or Biinda for the first couple of games of the season. And I've always felt if we took that risk because we fancy getting an Emi Martinez or a Donnarumma later in the window, and we realised that we're not going to get them before the season starts. I mean, that's a conspiracy theory, but, it's one I think might be hopefully grounded in fact, that the reason we haven't gone for Lemens is because we think we're going to get a first-team goalkeeper, but we can't get them before the season starts. And we know that Emi Martinez may be facing problems with Villa after the first game when his suspension ends if he is not back in goal. So, and Donnarumma looks like it's a deal that you certainly couldn't have done it last week because he hadn't been left out by PSG. And maybe Manchester United and maybe Chelsea were waiting to see how PSG treated Donnarumma when the season started. I mean, it would have been idiotic giving them £25 million last week. This leaving him out is a little bit like what we're going through with Garnacho. You're decreasing his value. You can't sit there and say we want £25 million when you're leaving him out your matchday squad. I'd be there going, look, he's a brilliant goalkeeper, but you are charging top price for one of the world's best goalkeepers who you won't even put in your matchday squad. I mean, that's just a bit like, it's going to get very distasteful very quickly. You've got a very unhappy player. You're dropping him completely, and then you're asking for top dollar for him. It's getting a bit like silly here. Let's just calm down a moment and let's do a deal. So look, I watch this with interest. At the moment, I don't get too excited because I know that we're not in for him. But you know what? That could change very, very quickly. I personally always felt like he would go to Chelsea. I'd be disappointed if he ended up going to Chelsea. Lots of content, lots of stories coming in at the moment from France. Fabrice Hawkins is a very good journalist for that. He says Man United and Chelsea have inquired about Donnarumma's situation in recent hours. So watch this space. We've got an opportunity. It's an expensive opportunity, and it's one we might not go near. But it's exciting because, as I said yesterday morning, Man United definitely will sign a goalkeeper in the next 3 weeks. And the market is opening up. And look, the great thing is there might be 2 or 3 decent goalkeepers available in the last few weeks of this transfer window, and there isn't 2 or 3 big clubs looking for goalkeepers. So we've surely got to land on an Emi Martinez or a Donnarumma in the next few weeks. And that might be unfortunate for Lemens, but I would take a goalkeeper that's ready to play over a younger goalkeeper at the moment. Get your comments in. We're back live at 8 o'clock. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you on the next one.